So why is it that I can't just warp to the 3rd floor? I've unlocked it and everything, haven't I? Why can't I just warp right there? Anyway, hello and welcome back to more Rune Factory fun time. Is somebody scratching the chair while I'm trying to sit on it? Anyway, in recent events, something actually did happen yesterday, which is kind of a surprise because things don't normally happen. But I've already ranted about it a couple of times, so not really in the mood to keep ranting about it, but long story short, tried to join a new server to play some more Commander, and person got exceptionally angry at me for playing one specific card. Oh god. It's like, you should have told us in the pregame that you're running overrun effects. It's like, nobody asked about it. Nothing in any of the things I read in the server said anything about, oh god. Joining, Speaking of nothing in the server saying anything about it, Discord servers these days, why do you have to have, like, all of your rules and stuff split up between, like, 12, 13, 15, 30 different rooms? To the point where I don't know where anything is. Some people are like, oh, you broke this one rule, because we definitely have it clearly written out as a rule. It's like, where's the rule? It's like, oh, well, see, if you go to, like, this tab, it's like, if you go to our, like, Friends and Finances tab, and go to the, like, you know, Apple Juice page on it, yeah, if you go to Meme Chat and scroll up a few days worth of content, you'll see that some random person who isn't actually a mod anymore, so if you look, yeah, who isn't a mod anymore, but they were a mod at the time of posting, so if you look them up now, they're not a mod. But at the time they were a mod, and they posted, like, don't ask about people's cats comment or something in response to, you know, a cat girl meme. And that's a ironclad rule of the server, and frankly, I can't believe that you would ask about someone's cat after they had mentioned that they had one. Because it's obviously against the rules of the server. Like, how dare you do such a thing? You're going to be banned now, and I'm a mod, and I'm saying that I don't care about that you know, didn't know about this ironclad rule. We posted meme chat and everything. Like, we didn't pin it or anything, but you should have read every single post that's ever been on any of our pages on our server ever. So you could be well informed about every last rule that are not in the rules page.
Thank you.
It's like, yeah, go to a new server these days. It's like, okay, let me just mute half of the rooms.
Thanks for the thought.
Yeah, like, let's immediately just mute half of all of these rooms. Okay. Is that a 0 because that's too tough for my weapon to hurt, or because of attribute? I'm thinking for sword, it's the attribute, but for the actual... But for the water laser is just too weak. Okay, wait. Where's the thing? There. Gosh, why do they put it inside the fire?
I'm tired. Thanks for the thought. Thanks.
Okay, I definitely have to level up, like, a lot more before. But yeah. Like, I get onto, like, my second ever game on this server, and this guy goes on and on and on, grilling me about what I have in my deck. Do you have fast matter? Do you have land destruction? Do you have this? Do you have that? Do you have this? Do you have counter spell? Do you have this? Anyway, that all led to a giant argument in the main general chat, whatever, about, oh, well, if you have this one specific card in your deck, you should let everyone know in the pre-game conversation. It's like, There's nothing listed in any of the rules pages that I looked at that say like, hey, here's a list of cards. So if you have this in your deck at this power level, you should tell people about it because people don't like playing against these cards. If you're going to try to establish a thing where you should warn people if you have X cards, maybe at least put in an example of what kind of cards they are. The only examples given are don't run mass land destruction, and combos would have to be 3 or more cards, except for the decks that have more efficient combos. It actually says, like, combos should be, like, 3 or more cards, or maybe it says, like, 5 more, except for the decks where the combos are more efficient. Like, they don't even try to do any sort of an ironclad rule there. They're just like, it should be this, unless it's not. And, like, how arbitrary are you planning on going with this, right? Like, so I'm trying to talk about this, like, is there a list of cards? Like, can I have Mana Crypt in a mid-power deck? Or do I have to tell people? Can I just not have it in there at all? Like, it's like, oh, well, you should be aware of what cards make people angry and tell people about, like, that you have those cards before you play the deck. It's like, I once copied someone's 1/1 creature, like, basically a vanilla creature. I cloned it once, and that person was salty and angry at me for the rest of the game. Should I warn people that I'm running a clone in a deck, like one single clone in a deck, because that can make people salty? If I have a strip mine, does that count as mass land destruction if I don't have no way to because, like, strip mine is a land and you can tap it. You can tap it and sacrifice it to destroy one land. And most people are completely fine if you play a strip mine. It's like, oh yeah, sure, whatever. Some people, though, you play one strip mine and they, you know, swear a blood oath against you and want to murder you because, OMG, you're playing a strip mine. How dare you, you're a horrible person. And it's, like, so completely arbitrary on what people are and are not okay with. And it's like, what do I... And it's... So I'm, like, trying to, like, say this and stuff. And so it's like, oh, don't worry... Someone says to somebody else, oh, don't worry about them. They're just making, like, rhetorical questions, trying to prove some kind of point. It's like, no, dude, I have autism. I'm actually asking these questions about what is and is not okay. And then a second person, well, I guess in this case it would be a third person, goes, oh, I have high-functioning autism too. I have high-functioning autism, the person says. You should be better than this. I know how to be a proper human in a civilized place. You should know that too. It's like, well, no, I can't read minds. I never got that read minds ability. I can't read strangers' minds. I don't know what kind of a thing that you have that makes it so you believe that everyone should be able to read strangers' minds all the time, but no, I don't have that. And if you actually could read minds like you're telling me to do, then you would be able to tell that I am a different person from you. And then, so after the whole conversation had died down, I had, like, point out that one line. It's like, by the way, saying that someone is high-functioning autism is actually really bad for the autistic community, because saying that person is high-functioning is effectively a way of saying this person basically doesn't have autism. We should treat them as if they don't have it. And it's, like, studies have been done about this. It's actually dangerous to the autistic community to say that a person is high-functioning. Like, it is actually a bad thing. It's actually harmful to people with autism to put people into high-function category. And then another person replies with this, like, 3 or 4 paragraph thing of essentially, no, it's a good thing to say when people are high-functioning autism, so you know which people aren't actually affected by having autism. And, oh, I hate that people are trying to hide behind, trying to use their autism as a shield to get away with being a bigot, with saying whatever they want. It's like, no, I was bringing up my autism to say, hey, no, I'm actually asking questions. Don't assume I'm being rhetorical. I brought my autism to say, no, I actually am asking these questions. I really am this dumb. And trying to better myself and get help. Oh, you can't warp well on it. It's like, no, I actually am asking questions. But like, this person is all just so readily assumes, like, a whole other person was not even in that previous argument at all to know anything about it. All they saw was me posting, hey, don't say that someone is high-functioning autistic, because that's bad to the autism community. This person is like, no, if someone's high-functioning autistic, someone's high-functioning autism, that means they basically don't have autism and can be like a normal person. And then at the end, they put in, yeah, it's like, oh yeah, by the way, Mod, you can delete this or ban me from the server. I don't care. I'm just sick of people hiding behind their autism and using it as an excuse to get away with whatever they want. It's like, so of course I blocked the person. And then the mods immediately, like, locked that channel because of all of that. I don't know if anything has still happened. I don't know if the person got a warning. I think they're still on the server. I should actually check. But literally all of this started, like, I wouldn't have played the overrun effect. I wouldn't have played... The card is Triumph of the Hordes, by the way, in case anyone is curious. And the person was super angry at me. At first, they were yelling, well, you know, raise their voice in an angry fashion. Oh, I'm not yelling. I'm raising my voice in an angry fashion, you bloody moron. It's like close enough to be effectively the same thing, right? Like, oh, I'm not yelling at you. I just raised my voice in anger at you. But I'm not yelling, so you can't get me in trouble for yelling at you, because I didn't. Just want to slam someone's face into a table. Don't know whose, don't really care whose, just someone. But anyway, so first he was angry at me for playing an Infect deck. It's one card, it's a game finisher. Trying to use it to finish him off like any other overrun effect. And then he was angry that I was using an overrun effect without announcing in the pregame. And you want to know what happened? He fogged it. He had to fog this entire time he was complaining. And then he could play through another player's turn and into his next turn and went, oh, by the way, Clay, I'm going to use this overrun effect and kill you. Oh, by the way, he didn't feel the need to mention that he had an overrun effect in the pregame conversation, but he was super angry that I didn't announce that I had one in the pregame conversation. And I tried to call him out for him being so hypocritical, whatever, and he's like, well, I said it and everything it did when it came out, which, one, no he didn't, and two, okay, sure, I'll tell you what my Triumph of the Hordes does when I play it. That's the same thing, right? Because you didn't announce you had an overrun effect in the pregame, but you're getting mad at me for not announcing that I had an overrun effect in the pregame. And if you wanted to know if I had an overrun effect, you could have asked that, instead of assuming that I know that you would specifically get salty for me having an overrun effect. It's like, oh, you didn't say you were running an Infect deck. It's like, I'm not running an Infect deck. It's one Infect card. And it's like... So yeah, I blocked that person, blocked the person who was siding with them. So, won't get into any more games with them, but it's like, I'm brand new to the server. Like, you've been playing on here. Like, sure, maybe you don't play on here a ton, but you're playing on here enough that as soon as somebody that you knew enough to grill me about everything concerning the deck, you knew that I was new enough that you had to grill me about everything in my deck. And it's like, should I take my deck apart and show you every single card piece by piece to tell you what every card does before the game begins? Because a part of playing the game is that sort of excitement that happens. Like, oh my gosh, I didn't know you had that card. Or the, oh no, you have that. Now I'm done for kind of a thing. The, like, dramatic side of things. But if you're expecting us to tell about everything, then that is completely ruined. It's like, oh, well, that's how it's supposed to be. You're not actually supposed to have anything, you know. You're not supposed to have anything, like, exciting in the deck. It's like, okay, well, why don't you tell me about every single one of your big cards and all of your finishers? Like, do you have overrun effects? Do you have, say, a trample enabler? Do you have creatures with trample? Do you have creatures with flying? Do you have creatures with shout? Do you have creatures with horsemanship? What is this? Is the game just graphically bugged? Okay, I think it was just graphically bugged.
I'll show you. Like you.
I have nothing bad to do. I'm just going on boss rush. Anyway, and I play a couple other games on the server and things were a lot better. But it's like, we're here to have fun, and you yelling at me, or raising your voice in an angry fashion at me for 5 minutes isn't my idea of fun. But you can't just leave, because you actually get penalized on the server for leaving, because as you play event... I love the game autosaved at one of those points. Rune Factory? Hey, you get points, and I have no idea what the points are for. I just know that you get points when you play. Sometimes as little as one... Well, you always get at least 1 point a game. Usually you can get at least 2, and if you win, you get like an extra 2. One second. So anyway, I forget what I was ranting about, but it's like these people don't want to have anyone else in their groups or whatever. Why does this not hurt it anymore? Could I recruit the Basilisk? That'd be quite the companion. But yeah, it's like... Gosh, it's like... If your first reaction to seeing, like, you know, someone new in a public area is, you know, to grill them and argue that, like, this person for the entire game spent the entire game attacking me, singling me out, going after me. But of course, oh well, you were just the best target all the time, constantly, always. It's like, no, I really wasn't. If you want if you're trying to deal with someone who you can actually attack and it doesn't have creatures so you can attack them and they can't block, there's another player that you could have attacked who was often open and available to be attacked. If you want to attack the person with the most creatures out because you want to try to get rid of their board presence, there's another player for that. I was in the middle of the two. I got like 1 3/3 creature, you're like, but attack you with my 2 2/2s. I'm gonna lose one, but at least I get to hit you. And it's like, I mean, you could have either attacked the person with no blockers and hit them for like 4, or attack the person with 2 2/2s and either hit them for 4 or remove their creatures. As it is, I killed one of your creatures and got hit for 2, and then on your next turn, like, that wasn't enough, better do it again. It's like, it's a block. It's like, it's obviously you're doing this as a personal method, you're just too arrogant to admit that that's what you're doing. Why are you doing it? And then, of course, as soon as I play something that he doesn't personally agree with, that's when he gets all ranty, because now he has an excuse to be angry at me. It's like, yeah, I joined a server, because trying to find people to play Commander with is hard. And frankly, I am
Thanks.
really tempted to try to, like, just leave the whole
No more.
doing things with relative strangers thing entirely.
Take that.
Like, try to find people I know to play Magic with. Well, the thing is, like,
Prepare yourself.
Chandra doesn't really play much Commander. And Kirian doesn't really play much Commander. And Azura doesn't play Magic at all. She has a reason for why she doesn't play it, but I keep forgetting what it was. But it's something to do... I think it's something to do with the fact of either power creep or expensive cards or whatever. Something like that. I don't know. Like I said, I keep forgetting. But yeah, so she doesn't want to play either. So it's like, well, it's either find people and get them into playing Magic, or find people who play Magic and make them my friends. Well, making people I know play Magic doesn't work, because I don't know many people. And they all have their solid stances on it, and they're all super busy working multiple full-time jobs at once, because that's how life is. You can't just have free time to do stuff with people. So, yeah. So, you know, that's a case. So then, okay, find people who play Magic and make them my friends. Well, that's why I'm joining this new server for. In the hopes that out of, like, yeah, for every 100 strangers I meet online, maybe one of them I'll be able to be friends with. And that makes me sound super conceited. But I mean, if you've been watching my videos at all, you know how much I tend to... Yeah. You'd get an idea of, like, what kind of a person I am, even though I do talk a lot more in while recording videos than I do for real. I might have some... I don't know for sure, but I might have some sort of bipolar disorder, because I do get into a bit more of a hyperactive state at times. Especially, like, when people are about and, like, doing things, and I tend to, like, talk, because I get excited about things. So I get excited about things, want to express it, want to do things, and then people hate that with a fiery passion. How dare you be excited about anything? Can't you just not care about anything like we do? And that's actually another thing. That, like, as far as triggers go, that might actually be potentially one of my only actual triggers of things, is person just flat out not caring. Like, trying to play a game with somebody, and they're all like, I don't really care. It's like, why you... It's like, well, I know this person's just gonna kill us all next turn, but I'm attacking you, Claire. It's like, but you could kill the person who's threatening to kill the rest of us. I'm gonna attack you, Claire, anyway, cause you said words, and, like, yeah, how to... Right after the game where somebody was angry and ranting and stuff at me for, you know, 5-ish minutes... I had another game that went on for maybe an hour or so, whatever. Pretty normal length of time for a Commander game. But on the short end, Commander games usually about an hour and a half to 2 hours, what I found. Sometimes more, sometimes less. Anyway, at the end, like, this guy put out, like, over 90 creatures on the board at once. On the next turn, if they play a land, they'll be able to pump their board by over 800 power, so they could swing and kill. Even without a land, with just what they had, they could probably kill 1 or 2 of us just by attacking. With a land, they'd kill all 3 of us. So the person goes after them. It's like, okay, with a little bit of trickery, put enough power on the board, unblockable by that player, can just absolutely swing, kill the person who's threatening to kill all of us. And I said, it's like, oh yeah, you could do it like this, because they weren't seeing that they had a thing on their creature that would allow them to make it work, but they was like, I'll do this different way and not do that. And it's like, well, I mean, you could do it this way. I don't care. Attack you, Claire. It's like, why? You could kill them. It wouldn't make any difference. It would. It would knock them out of the game. Like, it would knock them out of the game, and then the rest of us don't have to worry about this guy killing us on his next turn. Whatever. I already attacked you. I'm attacking you anyway. I don't care. You obviously very much care a lot if you're very adamant on attacking me. You very much care about what I have to say. Like, I was very much trying to be like, actually, you don't. Pass. It's like, well, if you don't care, then leave. If, hey, next person, it's your turn. Hey, if you don't care, don't play with us. Don't try to make every... And whenever I try to play games with strangers, even sometimes when I play games with people who, you know, I'm trying to be friends with, that stuff happens. Like, play, I don't know, Among Us with a group of not just specifically randos online. Go into a voice chat in a server with people that I've been friendly with. It's like, hey, let's play Among Us. Let's have a group event. Let's play some Among Us. Like, 7 of us, whatever. And sure enough, like, maybe an hour or so in, sometimes faster, sometimes longer, but it happened. It's still a thing that happens. And then random person is all just like, ha, I was actually an innocent, but I made you all think I was an imposter, so you'd vote me out. It's like, why did you do, it's not like there's a gesture role. Why did you do that? You just made it harder for the rest of us who are groupmates. 'Cause it's fun! Or the alternative, whatever, I don't really care. Sure, vote me out. It's like, I mean, you saw the imposter kill, just say who the imposter is. I don't care. I don't care. It was, this person, I don't know, whatever, just vote this person out. It's like, every single person in the lobby knows that person is good. Like, we all have evidence that the person is good. We've all, I don't know, seen them do med-based scan or whatever. Like, we know that this one person is good that you're trying to get us to vote out. I don't care. I don't care. Whatever. I don't care. It's like, okay, cool. Leave. And it's just a game. Why are you taking it so... That's the third argument. It's just a game. Why are you taking it so seriously? I mean, I'm taking it seriously because that's kind of the point, is to take it seriously. Like, it's not life or death, but it is the difference between having fun and not having fun. And that does mean something. Again, it's not life or death. But we're doing this to try to, you know, bring some joy into our mundane lives. And considering my level of depression and how I use games as a way of coping with my depression, it actually is, in a way, life or death for me. Because one person acting this way can and very much does put me into a depressive state where I do consider committing suicide. So actually, yes, it is a matter of life or death. It's just not your death, so you don't care, because you can't care about anything beyond yourself. But this could actually very well be a matter of life or death. And of course, when I bring this up to any of these people, the immediate thought is, well, that's a you problem. Or, why should I care about you? Or, well, you should try having a life instead. It's like, yeah, I don't really have a life. That's why I have depression. Thanks for, you know, bringing that up. No, I don't have a life. I don't know how to have a life. I'm trying to socialize with strangers on the internet to try to make friends so I can do something in relation to having a life. That's why I'm here, is to try to make friends, and you are making that difficult by bringing everyone's mood down, so no one will want to associate with anyone here. And if I don't say anything, everyone will be all like, oh, that was a... Control-I. That was a stupid experience. I don't want to associate with anyone in that group again. Or, you know... But if I do say something, people go, oh, that Claire! She's so, like... She's such a horrible person, caring about the game we're playing. Like, who does that? I don't want to associate with you anymore. So, either way, because of your actions, nobody wants to associate with me. And I still can't make friends, which is a thing I have trouble with, because I have autism, which I'm not using as a shield. It's just a simple fact of life, that being developmentally challenged makes it harder to, you know, having a developmental disorder where you don't understand people that well makes it harder to become friends with people. I don't have proper social skills. I will admit that. I never gained the proper social skills that people need to make friends. I don't, you know, go up to strangers and say, hey, let's make fun of this thing together. Won't it be fun? I don't, like, you know, find a group of people bullying some child and go, hey, let's bully that child together so we can be friends. No, I was the child being bullied. Yeah, of course, everyone was the child being bullied. You ask anyone if they were bullied in school, they'll say, yes, absolutely, I was bullied. the specifics of what they mean by bullying change from person to person, and of course, so many people lie about that. They'll say they got beat up every day, like in the middle of class. Why is there a fish in the air? They got beat up every day in the middle of class. Blah, blah, blah. Why is there this fish in the air?
Thank you.
So yeah, and then issue there, people lying about anything and everything. Like, why are you lying about this stuff? Like, what, do you have something to gain by lying about it to such an extent? Like, why lie? It's like, oh, it doesn't really matter, does it? It's like, you're saying that these kids beat you up to such an extent that, like, you had to be hospitalized for half of your childhood. Like, that does seem like a pretty major issue. Why'd you lie about that? 'Cause it's funny! It's like, no, that really isn't funny. That's very concerning. That is not a humorous thing. It's funny! And, like, in some situations, I can't just, like, turn and leave the person because a lot of, or some social situations, they basically state, hey, if you leave, you're you're the one getting in trouble. Whatever. It's like, again, in, say, a public group, if I just go, it's like, well, I don't find that funny, and then just go and leave, everybody immediately goes, oh, Claire, you're being unreasonable. You should just stay with the person. Like, I remember...
Thank you.
Yeah. Not to rant about my childhood again on... After, like, what, 3 episodes before, but, like, I actually had people who would physically assault me as a child, and my parents said I should make friends with them. So, I don't think that neurotypical people know what it's like to be friends. It's one person... Oh, no, yeah. The neurotypical friendship cycle. One person gives up themselves and allows the other person to do whatever they want, and that person does whatever they want with the new punching bag toy. That's neurotypical friendship. You might not like it, but that's peak neurotypical friendship. I can't eat this. How do I eat you?
Yes.
Really? What?
Up we go.
Okay, that was a shock. And that was 30 princess points. Okay. But it's like... That's not how friendship is supposed to be, right? It's not supposed to be punching bag and person... It's not supposed to be like an abuser. Friendship's not supposed to be abusive relationships, right? But that's basically the only way I've seen them be portrayed ever is... Someone is abusive to someone else who puts up with it. And like that, like, seriously, watch those TV shows that are aimed... Yeah, watch the TV shows that have like an adult friend group. I mean, yeah, sure, those aren't realistic, but considering... There's always like that one person who just takes advantage of their friends again and again, and everyone else is all like, oh gee, well that's just how Steve is. Everyone knows that Steve is the kind of person who will... And then they have like one episode eventually where they call it out as like, hey, this person is taking advantage of our friendship and generosity for like our entire, you know, the entire time we've known them. And they might like stop being friends for like a day, and then afterwards everything goes back to normal and Steve keeps taking advantage of them over and over again, and they're just fine with it now because they filled their quota of the one episode where they actually cared about it. Again, TV show, not real, but yeah, try looking at the friendships that you can see in your life and see if there's abuse in them. People don't really seem to care. That's another thing that I notice. People don't seem to care if they or someone is getting somewhat abused. As long as it's not to the actual point of, you know, being beaten on a regular basis, people are still under the impression of, well, you only meet about 100 people in your life. And so if you ever love somebody, they are the only person you'll ever be in love with. And since you loved them once, and they say they loved you, you have to stay with them no matter what.
I'll show you. Thank you. Thanks.
What's under here? But yes, and I'm not talking about sheer relationship. I mean, not just talking about sheer relationships here, but like, just general. But just general friendships. It's like, well, this person's been my friend since kindergarten, and obviously we've moved the same way in life, even though we do totally different things and have other totally different friend groups. And when we get together, we don't do anything. We just, you know, sit in lawn chairs and drink beer and just go, ugh, every couple of hours. But this is how friends do. This is what it means to be friends. On a completely different note, the whole reminisce instead of just facing the boss fight thing is an interesting thing that has, because it downright states that some of the bosses do respawn infinitely, but there are just only one of them out at a time, unless of course you take them as a pet, in which case you could have, you know, a large arbitrary amount of them at once. But there's only like one wild one of that at a time, as opposed to something like a woolly where there could be like dozens out at once. However, these major boss battles, like the Fathomless Dread and fight against Redea's dragon form, those aren't always just there. The Fathomless Dread isn't just like half a dimension away at all times. It has been taken care of.
Well, of course.
Well,
All right.
weapon print plus again. Now we have 2. Oh god. Oh hey, MTGU plate. Oh yeah. Dragon Golem Ashes, nice. Vitality plus 300, that's useful. Alright. But yeah. Like, so, when I meet someone, and if they're, like, rude to me right off the bat, I don't take that rudeness and go, gee, rude person, I'm gonna try to be your friend, because I'm never gonna meet anyone else in my life, so I better try to make friends with everybody I meet. It's like, no, you're rude to me? No, I don't want to be your friend. And it's like, oh, well, think of all the friendship you're missing out on because you weren't nice to that rude person. Maybe they're just having a bad day being rude to you. You should try extra hard to be their friend. Show them how good of a person you can be. Because imagine all of the stuff you can miss out on by not deciding to be their friend, by not bending over backwards for them to be, by not allowing them to be rude to you. Weren't you really the rude one to them? And it's like, dear God, don't be so abusive. Don't be so manipulative to say, oh, well, weren't you really being the rude one because you didn't let them be, You didn't let them, like, abuse you. What? So weren't you really the rude one? It's like... Dear God, shut up. That's not how any of this works. But people will actually and honestly and earnestly say, well, you didn't let them be rude to you, so if you think about it, you are actually the rude one. It's like, this person's probably just having a bad day. It's like, well, or the whole classic, if you can't handle me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best. It's like, okay. If you can't, handle me at your worst, you don't deserve me at all. Like, it is possible to have a bad day and then not go online and socialize with strangers to vent out your frustration on. If I have a bad day, you know what I do? I rant about it on random YouTube videos. If you don't like this, like, you don't have to watch the video. When you hear that I'm starting to get all ranty and stuff, you don't have to stick around. You don't have to stay here. You can go. Some people, however, do like the ranty stuff. Some people do, some people don't. It's not up to me to determine if somebody does or doesn't. That's up to the person watching. Yeah, give them the option to decide if they want to see the ranty stuff or not. If they don't have to. I'm not trying to force people. I'm not trying to coerce people. If you don't want to watch my videos, don't watch my videos. Like, whatever. I'm not doing this for the fame and fortune and popularity of YouTube. I'm doing this for my own sake. If you don't want to watch them, don't feel pressured to watch them. It's fine. I understand. There are a number of channels that I don't watch myself because of, like, my own reasons. Like, oh god. All of these YouTube channels these days are doing these whatever things where the main picture is just, like, person's face. Like, so many thumbnails are just person face in shock reaction, person face in shock reaction, person face in shock reaction, and that's like all of, like, not all, but pretty much all of the YouTube thumbnails these days. Person face in shocked reaction, and it's annoying. I don't like it. Like, I want to look at the clip to, like, I don't know, I want the thumbnail to show something what it's about. I don't want to see, like, oh, shocking Apple hack, and then it's a person's face, like an iPhone that's exploding. And it's like, and like, if the actual video is like, hey, did you know you can change the language setting on your phone so you can make Siri speak in Italian? And the thumbnail was person's face being shocked and a cell phone exploding. And I get that, like, something, children watch videos and they'll click on the shocked reaction one because that's the one that they find most interesting. Kind of thing. But I don't find that interesting, so I don't click on it to view it. And that's it. Like, that's literally my whole argument against it, is I don't find that interesting, so I don't click on it. So I need more farming bread. I need farming bread plus to learn these recipes, or I need, 3160. I'm sure I could make a thing that has all of this stuff in at once. Actually, I should save and I should try that, honestly. Make some cheap and easy accessory and try to put all three of these things on. Okay. So fill this forge. Make a farm tool. Don't use recipe, but use... Okay, so 3160, okay? Okay. And if I try to make this farm tool, $31.60, $29.62. The same thing again. Alright, 31, 29, 27. $31, 29, 27. Oh, by the way, yeah, the cut from earlier, yeah, my internet went out and that made it so my Switch decided, hey, I can't do things. I wonder if I should put more of my stuff into the room. Just like warp up here, but this has... I don't know. What's an easy to make thing I can maybe still use for other things? Okay. Supposedly, if I do this... Remember, 31, 29, 27. Well. Then all I need is... 25! It does still cut it. 31, so 29, 27, down to 25. I could just wear this here necklace, and everything uses, like, a lot less stuff. All I need is a little bit more, like, farm bread plus, and then I can go through with all of this. But yes, it is absolutely annoying that I can't just do this and have that work for me. Because that's still 2,500. Ugh. But you know what? Screw it. Use up a lot less rune points. And my skills should be still going up. Good. Call it a day. Okay. Harvest the hot fruit. Harvest all but golden veggies. Done.
Nice.
Pineapple level 3 already? Nice. Carrot I can just pick up, I guess. It's already level 9, so let's just plant it here. This is on level 4. Wait a second. That's only level 4. Should I sell it and then rebuy more pineapple seeds? I kind of want to sell and buy more pineapple seeds, but I think that I'll let it grow at least one more time.
There we go. Yeah.
Poor 4-leaf clover.
Grow big and strong, okay?
Okay, it's tiny until it's time to harvest it, isn't it? Okay, okay. I did that goal. Okay. Yes! I can buy golden seeds, but still not the golden vegetables. Remember, they go best in winter, but not in summer. But unfortunately, in this game, the seasonal fields are not a thing anymore. I do need to buy at least 8 pineapples, don't I? I keep looking at my rune points whenever I do that, and it's like, why are my rune points not being filled up? It's like, oh, right, no, I'm just being dumb.